Hi, I'm Dave Caruso, and I'm here to show you how to strum a simple chord on the guitar to a whole note rhythm. We're going to talk a little bit about that more in a minute. First, I want to tell you about finger numbers. Our first finger is our index finger, our second finger is our middle finger, our third finger is our ring finger, and our fourth finger is our pinky. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's make sure we know that. We're going to use a chord called E minor. You don't have to use this fingering, but it's recommended. You're going to use your second and third finger on the fourth and fifth strings in the second fret. Let me show you what that looks like. We're going to use our fingertips on the strings, so that's the very tip of your finger, not the pads of your finger. And a good way to think about how to put your fingers on the strings is to go like this with your hand, and let me show you the wrong way first. Just close your hand. If you just close your fingers to your palm, there's no room in between your fingers and your palm for the guitar. And you need to make room for it. You need to make kind of an arch. So the way you want to do it instead is reach for your wrist with your fingertips. Reach for your wrist. And that gives you a little bit more of a bow in there. Put your thumb behind the fretboard and reach for those strings like you're reaching for your wrist. And you'll get a nice high arch, and none of your fingers will touch strings that will keep them from ringing. Because the important thing when we're playing a chord is for all of the strings to ring true and free. So let's try that. That's nice. Every string has a nice ring to it. And that's what an E minor sounds like. The reason I don't want you to use your first finger is because when we want to turn this chord into an E chord later on, E major chord, we just add that one more finger on the first fret on the third string, and we get a different sound. But remove it, we get the minor. Now you can use your third and fourth fingers instead of your second and third fingers, and that's going to come in handy when you start doing bar chords. But most people find that these last two fingers are a little weaker at first, and you want to build up some strength in them later. So I would suggest using fingers 2 and 3 at this point. Okay, let's talk about your strumming hand. You're going to hold your pick so that the tip of the pick is facing outward. You're going to put the top of your elbow, or just below the elbow, on the round part of the body of the guitar, so that your hand is across from the sound hole right here. And you're going to do a strum straight down, but actually don't keep your pick exactly straight. You want to angle it upward slightly so that you're not pulling the strings hard. You're just gliding against the strings. This is what you don't want. You want to do this. Nice and gentle. Now you're going to get different sounds as you move your pick, and you might use those for different purposes. But for now, just strum across from the sound hole and get a nice sound. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to count to 4, because a whole note gets 4 beats. So we're going to count to 4, and every time we say 1, we're going to strum downward on this E minor chord. I'm going to count 4 for nothing to get us ready, and I'm going to do it nice and slow. And you're going to get 3 beats in between every strum to reset and strum again. Okay? 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first lesson. We're going to start changing chords on our next lesson. So what you want to do is practice the G, E minor, C, and D chords until you can play them, switching between them in different orders fairly easily. And we're going to do those on our next assignment. See you then.